Assalamu alaikum everyone. I hope you're doing well. I am here with my first ever video on my YouTube channel, and today I'm going to talk about something that I have been meaning to discuss with my friends and followers on Instagram for quite a long time. In fact, a few weeks ago, when I was in the process of finalizing my synopsis, I asked this question to my students slash followers that I basically asked them what do they think about the role of social interactions while one is in the process of writing an academic work or an academic piece of writing. Because you see, the thing is, in order to kind of preface this a little bit, I would say that, when one is working on a project, a research project, what happens is that one needs to have full concentration, and I will talk about it from my experience primarily, that I definitely need a lot of peace and calm of mind. And prior to actually writing something, I need to read a lot, and for that I need to sit down and have a calm and you can say peaceful environment so that I can actually write something. And the calmer and peaceful the environment is, the better and more focused and more coherent my writing is going to be. It's more likely to be that way. However, when I was working on my MPhil thesis, I realized that while I was working on that, I tended to isolate myself quite a lot because I was reading all the time. I had a very busy schedule, not a busy one rather, but I would say that I intentionally made it quite busy for myself in the way that I would wake up at 7 a.m. in the morning, and I would start reading at 8 a.m. till 1 p.m. And then in the middle of that, I would take out 1 hour or 2 hours to write my thoughts down and work on my thesis, work on the actual writing as well. And then because you see, you need to read a lot of books in order to write a substantial piece of research, writing. So what happened was that I got so absorbed in the writing process and the reading process itself that I tended to cut off a lot of interactions. And at the end of my research journey, or you can say MPhil research journey, I was basically not interacting with anybody, and I realized that I was kind of starved for that kind of interaction, that kind of social relation that was kind of lacking in my life at that point in time. But these things are paradoxical, because had I not prioritized my thesis or my research, I would not have been able to read as much. I would not have been able to write as well. But at the same time, I think that my mental health, it didn't really suffer because I was happy, very, very, very happy with the way I was working and with the way I was able to manage my writing so well, my time so well, everything. And I was like, my mind was working at its best capacity at that time. However, I think it's equally important to have friends and have that, that circle that supports you and that you can discuss other life things with, like clothes or shopping or cooking or gardening and things like that. And that is the period when I actually opened my or started my Instagram account, because I craved that interaction so much. So I started posting about plants and flowers and food and books as well here and there, so that I could have that interaction that I needed so badly. And now that I'm working on my PhD thesis, the thoughts are coming back to me, and I am not really sure it's social interaction that is more important for me at this point in time, or is it seclusion and isolation that I'm craving at this time? Because I would love to isolate myself, go on an island or something and just write and write and write, and obviously read and read and read and then write and then read some more. But at the same time, I wouldn't want my life to be overly dominated by my PhD thesis. So this was something that I asked my students on Instagram, and they gave lovely responses. So I'm going to share the ones that I think are the best ones, because I think when you talk to people who are going through the same experience at the same time, it helps you look at different perspectives of the same thing, and that basically helps you open up your mind a little bit more. And so I'm going to read those responses, and then I'm going to finally conclude what I think after going through those responses. Okay, so the first response that I got says that I think social interaction plays a vital role in affecting a person's perspective. Talking in general, I often feel pressure whenever I interact more socially, and I feel like it drains my energy as I'm unable to focus on my thoughts. Contrary to that, I've observed that whenever I'm alone, I can do my tasks better. However, I personally think that when you interact more, it widens your perspective, since you exchange ideas and gives you a new dimension. So I would say that this resonates quite a lot with me, because I also tend to be more isolated when I'm working on my thesis. Because you see, not every interaction that you have is going to widen your perspective. I mean, in your daily routine, I don't think that you meet people quite often who have a lot of knowledge on something that you're working on, or either are remotely related to the area that you're working on. But then from an academic perspective, this is not a good thing, I would say. And to be honest, I don't even like discussing my exact area with everyone that I meet, because obviously a research is something that is new and that not a lot of people know about. So if you keep discussing your research idea that you're currently working on with every single person that you meet, then when you actually submit your thesis, it will be common knowledge already. So I refrain from doing such a thing, and I would recommend everybody to be careful of this while they're working on something. So talking to people may not necessarily be conducive to widening your perspective, your research perspective, to be particular. However, it may be good for a different reason, and that is your general mental well-being, because that's also important. And one thing on this perspective I would say is that I've also felt that when I talk to people a lot more and I focus more on socializing and interacting with people a lot more, what happens is that the good ideas that I have, they all kind of drain away. They slip away from my mind, and they never come back to me. I forget about them altogether, because I am no longer in that frame of mind anymore. The next day I open my laptop. If I, spend a lot of time with friends or family or things like that. All right, this one says that it depends on the nature of research we are carrying. Sometimes all you need is solitude to think and concentrate on your thoughts, and then also a calm environment to write, but sometimes vice versa happens. I think the more pure a topic becomes, the more calm and peace it needs. So I agree with that. For example, if one is carrying out research in some scientific field, then they probably need a lot of interaction with other scientists and a lot of discussions and things like that. But if somebody is carrying out research in theoretical field of studies, then they need to focus a lot more. And sometimes, again, this reiterates the point that sometimes when we talk to people a lot, they tend to suck all of the energy and all of the good thoughts out of our head. And we may enjoy those ordinary interactions more than doing research, but it does badly affect our research. So we gotta keep that in mind. Moral that says that I think one needs to find a balance between the both. Some days I enjoy being social and it gives me a break from all kinds of thoughts that stuck, but as soon as I am done, I need my time alone. I need to focus and use my fresh mind in peace. Then some days when I find myself hustling too much in gatherings or people, my social battery dies and I no longer can benefit from it. So I need to go into hibernation for a while and then recharge myself to be able to do my best. So I'll say keep a healthy balance between both according to what your mind and heart and body demand. Everybody knows this, knows his threshold in both cases. Well, one just needs to find a balance. I think this is so interesting and this is such a balanced response, I would say, because this is what we need actually. We need to listen to ourselves, we need to listen to our body and our mind in order to know what we actually are craving. I mean, if I want to work on my thesis in a calm environment, that I should make sure that I'm providing myself with that. And then after 4 days of working on my thesis, I can have 2 days of social interaction and make sure that I am giving and feeding that part of my soul as well. So that's true that everybody knows what their threshold is. Some people don't actually. I mean, it took me a lot of time and I'm still working on this actually. And it took me a lot of time to figure out how much social interaction I want, because sometimes I overexert myself just to prove that I can be a social person and I can have friends and I can, sometimes just in order to please other people, in order to please your friends and your relatives and things like that, you just end up overextending yourself and overspending time with friends and family. And if you're doing it in a balanced way, then that's a good thing. But if you are just like stuck in that people pleasing mode, you just keep on overextending yourself. You keep on talking to people a lot more than is necessary. So I think this is very important as well. We need to keep this in mind, that our priority should be our body and our mind, and we need to find balance for both of these things. Then another student of mine, she sent me voice notes, so I'm not going to read, obviously, because I can't read. No, she has sent a message. She says, like, the first initial response that she sent was, for me, it is vital because it gives me motivation or energy to complete my task. It is kind of fresh air for me in my recurrent routine. Mingling with friends or social interactions freshens me, which allows me to be more focused with flowing stream of ideas in my mind. So I think this is more to do with extroversion and introversion. People who are more introverted, they tend to get more energy out of isolation and calm and peace, whereas people who are extroverted, they tend to feel happier when they're surrounded by their peers, and it gives them so much energy and so much strength that they are able to go back into their work with a lot more strength and so much more freshness of mind. So yeah, for some people it works this way. For me it doesn't. Okay. The next response that I have No, I think it practical experience in terms of social interaction and exposure adds a lot to your career and stands as a writer. When you meet people from diverse backgrounds, having different identity, religion, or culture, and you're willing to see things from multiple lens, then it builds up a new perspective every time. Consequently, I believe it provides you with new ideas and words and thoughts to be written down and shared to the world. So yeah, I think I agree with that. But sometimes it's very difficult. Another one says, Ma'am, I believe social interaction changes your perspective about certain idea or topic. It broadens your horizon as well. At the same time, if I have to write, I need complete isolation and calm to think and research over my topic before writing. Sometimes discussing your ideas help you understand it better. So this is kind of like a reiteration of what we have discussed before. So yeah, this was about it. There were a few more responses as well that I don't know, misplaced or something. But so my 2 cents at the end of it would be that yes, for some people, social interaction is the key to writing the best or draft they could ever come up with. And for people like me, isolation is more important. And in order for us to write better, we need more focused energy, and we need more focused mind, I would say. So but that is not to say that social interaction and meeting friends and things like that isn't important. It definitely is. I'm gonna wrap this up now, and I hope that you like this video and that it was a nice, yeah, I just hope that you like this video and that it added something nice, something positive to your day. And I will see you very, very soon with something else on this channel. So be happy and goodbye.